Genesis 5, Chapter 5, American Standard Version. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of man, God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he begat Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years, and begat Enosh. And Seth lived after he begat Enosh 807 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enosh lived 90 years, and begat Kenan. And Enosh lived after he begat Kenan 815 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. And Kenan lived 70 years, and begat Mahalalel. And Canaan lived after he begat Mahalalel 840 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalalel lived 65 years, and begat Jared. And Mahalalel after he begat Jared 830 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and begat Enoch. And Jared lived after he begat Enoch 800 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years, and begat Melusela. And Enoch walked with God after he begat Melusela 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. And Methuselah lived 107 years, and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years, and begat the son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This same shall comfort us in our work, and in the tools of our hands, which cometh because of the grounds which Jehovah hath cursed. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old. And Noah begat Sem, and Ham, and Japheth. Genesis 5 looks like just a genealogy, but it's actually a theological sermon in list form. It answers what happened to humanity after Eden. Did God blessing survive? Did God warning, you shall surely die, prove true? Or is there any hope? Here's what God is saying through this chapter. This is the book of the generations of Adam. History is theology, not trivial. Genesis frames genealogy as a record with meaning. It's telling you God's dealing with humanity happen in real time, through real generations, and the stories move somewhere. Also notice it repeats creation language. In likeness of God made he him, male and female blessed them. This is deliberate. After the fall and Cain's violence, God reasserts the original truth. What God is saying, sin damaged humanity, but it did not erase the image, the blessings, or my purpose for human life. The key turns Adam's son is born in Adam's likeness, begat the son in his own likeness after his image. This line is easy to miss, but is the theological hinge of the chapter. Genesis 1, humans are made in God's image. Genesis 5, Seth is born in Adam's image. It doesn't mean Seth lacks God's image. It means the image is now mediate through a fallen humanity. Human creature reproduces human nature. The fracture in atoms becomes a condition passed forward. Mortality, corruption, and the bent towards sin. What God is saying, you still bear my image, but you also inherit Adam's brokenness. The problem is now generational. The refrain, and he died, the false sentence is confirmed. Chapter 5, verse 5, 8, 11, etc. Over and over, and he died. This is the chapter drumbeat. It's Genesis 2 through 3 coming true. God said disobedience would lead to death. Genesis 5 is the evidence. Even the long-lived patriots do not escape it. And the structure is almost liturgical. He lived, he begat, he lived more, he had sons and daughters, and he died. What God is saying, death is not natural, normal, as God designed it. It is the signature of the rupture. Every generation carries this wound, yet life continues, sons and daughters. It's quiet mercy. Repeatedly, the text says they had sons and daughters. The line continues. Humanity doesn't end with Cain and Abel's tragedy. God preserves history. This is grace. The world is under judgment, but is not abandoned. What God is saying, I sustain life even in a dying world. My purpose continues through generations. Enoch, the interruptions of death. Hope breaks in chapter 5, verse 21 through 24. Enoch is the one major break in the pattern. Instead of and he died, you get Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Two key ideas: walked with God, that's covenant language, ongoing fellowship, obedience, communion. It's what Eden was meant to be. God took him. However you interpret it, translation, assumption, special death, the theological point is clear. Death does not have an absolute domino. God can preserve, carry, and keep. Enoch is a signpost. The story of humanity is not only, and he died, there's another possibility, life with God. That death that cannot simply erase. What God is saying, even under the reign of death, communion with me is real, and death is not ultimate for everyone forever. Methuselah and the long lifespan time is extended, not because sin is small, but because God is patient. Genesis highlights extreme longevity, whether read literal, symbolically, or as a literal theological feature of primal history. In any case, the narrative effect is the world is broken, but God gives long runways, and humanity multiplies. What God is saying, I am not rushing to wipe the slate. I am allowing history to unfold, and that patience is not permission, it's mercy. Lamech names Noah the first explicit cry for relief from the curse. Chapter 5, verse 28 through 29. The same shall comfort us in our work and in the toil, because of the ground which Jehovah hath cursed. This connects straight back to Genesis 3. The ground is cursed, work is toil, thorn resist. Lamech is longing for rest for the cursed. His son named Noah is tied to rest/comfort. Wordplay in Hebrew tradition around nanuch and /rest. This sets up the flood narrative. Noah will become the agent through whom God both judges corruption and preserves a new beginning. What God is saying, you feel the curse in your bones. You're right to growing for relief. Growing for relief. I am already moving history towards a form of comfort. The closing. Noah and his 3 sons. God is setting the stage for a reset. Chapter 5, verse 32. Shem, Ham, and Japheth will become the heads of the post-flood humanity. Genesis is narrowing the camera from the world to a line, from the line to a man, from the man to a coming event. What God is saying, I work through chosen means. In history, I am preparing preservation and judgment through Noah. The main message of Genesis 5 in one sentence. Even after Eden, God's image and blessing remains, but death now reigns across generations. Yet God gives signs of hope, Enoch, and begins preparing comfort and preservation through Noah. That is Genesis 5. Think again. Bye.